Gentlemen, we're not supposed to be here.
This is a closed course.
Welcome to Closed Course, presented by Pins and Aces, where the mic is open and the drinks are cold. This is the spot where golf meets good company. Athletes, artists, reality stars, and the pros who live on the greens. From tee boxes to tour buses, from green rooms to greens, we're asking the questions you won't hear anywhere else. We talk sports, we talk life, we talk everything in between. No scorecards, no pressure, just good vibes and stories that'll make you laugh, think, and maybe even grab your clubs. So let's tee it up and let it fly.
Welcome back to another episode of your favorite golf podcast, Closed Course. This week we got a very special guest, close friend of the brand, Marc Montoya. Marc's one of the most respected coaches in mixed martial arts and the head of Factory X here in Denver. He's coached elite athletes like Brandon Royval, Dustin Jacoby, Cody Brundage. Beyond the gym, Montoya is respected for his loyalty to his fighters, also building Denver into a true MMA hotspot. Marc is also a huge golfer, loves to play in his off time. Marc, welcome to the pod. I was running out of breath there.
I think I could have done it better.
Yeah, I do too. There's a couple things we missed. One, he's joined by founder Nick.
Yeah. We also got Nick here. We got Eric. Blake's out of town. He's also up in Vail. That was like 20 sentences in a row.
It was tough. We need Blake.
breath,
We
man.
missed Blake.
Yeah,
we missed Blake for the
already.
intro.
Liam, you
Marc,
killed it, dog. You just
yeah.
gotta breathe, bro. Breathe.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I was reading too
That was
fast.
just one run-on sentence.
One run-on sentence. I think Blake does that, though. Does he not?
Well, he's like plugged into electricity, though. He can just go.
Yeah, he's just on it. All right,
Yeah,
Marc,
thanks for
thanks for
coming.
coming on.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys
Yeah,
for having me.
Of course.
Super big fan of your brand, and I was a customer before I even knew you guys. I
Yeah.
think I've told you guys a story, but your viewers probably haven't heard this, so it's worth saying. I was online, and one of the things that I was looking for was something that was just not on brand. You know what I mean? And so, meaning on brand for golf. Golf sometimes I think can be a little stuffy, and so. I was looking and I came across your website and I was like, oh, this looks like some dope stuff. And so I went on there and I ordered your head covers, the ones, the king, the queen,
Royal Flush set?
yeah, what's it called?
The Royal Flush
Yeah,
set?
the royal. Yep. So I ordered that. Had zero clue you guys were in Arvada, and so I ordered it, and literally the next day it was at my house, and I was like, how'd that happen? Because it wasn't through Amazon; it was actually through
Right.
your site.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And so then I looked at the address. I was like, oh shit, these guys are in Arvada. I got to go by there. And so what's funny is I talked to DJ about it. I was like, bro, you got to go check this company out. DJ being Dustin Jacoby. I was like, look at these head covers I got. And I always get compliments about those. I actually need a new one, but I'll get one. I'll buy
We
one.
can take
from
care
you
of
guys
that.
soon. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was sold out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's back yet. But so was that before we met DJ or after, did you say?
No, it was before.
Yeah, okay.
So you
before.
put DJ on to
Yeah.
Pins.
Yeah.
I was like,
Look at
bro, you got to go check these guys out. And I said, they're actually in Arvada. He's like, what? And so we started talking about it because, obviously I've coached DJ for, I think easily over a decade, but maybe 12 years-ish, somewhere around there, 13, something like that. But we golf a lot together. And so, I was like, look at these head covers. Like, oh, those are sick. And then I was like, they're literally down the street. I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
And this was probably maybe going on 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So congrats to you guys. You guys have killed it and I think you guys have killed it ultimately because of your culture. Like it's not the stuffy golf thing. It's cool stuff. It's made
approachable.
well. Yeah, exactly. But it's a great
Yeah,
brand.
it's blue collar relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good people, great players can still wear the brand and be proud. It's not like some garbage
Yeah,
at all.
exactly.
But it's the culture's great. And I think you guys have killed it. So congratulations, you guys.
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
man.
Cool
And
to see.
it's cool meeting all the local people, and like you and DJ have been OG for a while now. It's kind of cool meeting like all the people we have, but even you guys we've known for such a long time. It's cool.
Yeah.
Go to UFC fights together and
Yeah.
stuff. Nick never shows up anymore, but that's a separate story.
I get him his wins. And I'll tell you a funny story. I think we've talked about it on the pod. But now DJ even has a Pins tattoo.
I know. I saw
That's
it's on his.
crazy.
You're
It's
gonna
on
be
his.
like, bro, what?
I asked him. I said, "What the hell is that?" He's like, this bet and this thing." And I was drinking, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like a DJ story for
Oh
sure."
my gosh.
It was so funny when he was doing the weigh-in. in at his last fight, and you see the spade on his bicep. It was hilarious.
Well, it is a cool logo at least. It's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah,
dumb
yeah,
logo,
yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least it's not like Callaway or something like
Yeah,
that. You know, it's
exactly,
like kind of
exactly.
cool. So
No script.
yeah, exactly. And what was he saying? He kept saying, "I got an ace up my sleeve."
Ace up my sleeve.
He's like, "I've been saying that for forever, man." He's like, "Now this is perfect."
He
I was like,
literally
"Oh,
does
yes."
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So what's it like coaching DJ? I'm sure you've coached so many different people. How do you compare DJ to some other normal people? DJ's not normal.
No, he's not. What's interesting is when I was training Chris Camozzi, Dustin Jacoby was not my fighter then. And we actually fought Dustin Jacoby in the UFC. Chris Camozzi fought Dustin Jacoby. And we actually beat Dustin in the UFC. Dustin had a real short stint, his first stint in the UFC. And one of his losses actually came from one of my fighters, Chris. And after that fight, actually, we talked to Dustin and found out that he was actually born here in Colorado. And so just had a commonality there.
Yeah.
And then he was looking for a gym to go train in because the gym he was in was kind of disbanding and moving different directions. And so I was like, man, you're ever interested? Love to have you. And of course, Colorado's home, so
Yeah.
that might make sense. And so that's how I originally met DJ. And then when he came and decided to come here and move to Factory X, the first thing I knew about him and just learned about him was, one, he's a really good athlete. So you guys have played golf with him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a good golfer. And but if you have DJ go shoot hoops or if you go fight, of course.
He's a
or
football quarterback, right, in
he was
college?
a college quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just a great athlete. And so obviously right away I could tell he's a good athlete. But I think the most special thing about him still to this day is just his bulletproof confidence is something that it's like one of the blessings God has given him, because he has that short memory, bulletproof confidence, whether he's lost a fight or he loses a round of golf or whatever. But the kid bounces back so fast, and he always says you got to go through it to get to it, and some of that's from his experience, obviously being in the cage and life, but his resilience to bounce back is always incredible to me, and his energy is always great. And, we always tease him because we were talking about it before this started, but we call it DJ land because DJ's in DJ land, and you just got to go join him, or he's going to keep moving on in DJ land, which is the bliss of that is amazing. I'm like, bro, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So those were the two things that really jumped out. And then I don't always become friends with my fighters. My job is not to be friends ever with them. My job is to coach them and be a great coach to them, be a mentor and all those things. But sometimes through time we become friends. And part of the reason we became friends is because we share common just hobbies, in the sense of we both like to hunt and we go do some hunting together. And then of course we both like to golf.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and then of course we love fighting. And
Yeah.
so we don't just spend time on the mat together, we actually spend time off the mat. And then he's fun to be around. You guys have been with him, so he's fun to be around, and DJ's always going to have some type of party around him, so.
He's a vibe
always
guy.
Yeah.
He's definitely a vibe. I mean, he's come to Minnesota on the golf trip. He's come to Vegas. He went on like just a family trip to Estes Park last year.
Waste management, he
The
came
waste
with it.
management.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's become like a really good friend, obviously. And the thing is I'm not. When you told me about Dustin, like I probably hadn't watched a UFC fight since like Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, like in high school. My buddies watched it, and I'm like, "What is this? How is this
Hey, I was
legal?"
coaching then, so
Yeah,
that tells you how young I am.
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember watching the first fight, and it was like the Zions, Matt, and everyone was drinking Zions. I'm like, what's Zions? Anyways, didn't know much about it, and I was like, how's this illegal? Anyways, didn't watch much UFC. Then Liam was really into it, and he's like, this fighter's coming in, Dustin Jacoby. I'm like, who's that? Then we became friends with him, so I was like completely naive. Now I'm watching every UFC fight.
Every
on the
card.
weekend.
Nick texts me
Every
about
card. I'm like, I had a good week last week with Strickland in my bet, winning those parlays. But he comes in, and so like I'm pretty naive. Then get to be friends with him, and then before his fight in Tampa, which we went out to.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never been to a UFC fight, so first one. And DJ comes in like a couple weeks before, and I'm like, have you ever thought of doing like calf kicks? Like, I've been watching this YouTube, like throwing the calf kicks. Those really got to hurt. And he just starts laughing. I think we were joking around about it, like, yeah, tell his coach, like, do the calf kicks.
Yeah.
He just knows,
never heard of that one.
You figured something out.
Yeah. Nick's got a new technique over
New technique. You got calf kicks, but
Thanks to Nick, we figured it out. Thank you, bro. I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
that.
Yeah, you're
Nick's in
welcome.
the lab studying
I'm
video.
in the lab
Yeah.
telling DJ how to fight. But the crazy thing is, if you know DJ, obviously he's like, he's got the ears, the face, the body. He looks like a fighter. You wouldn't want to mess with him. But he's like the softest, nicest guy when you're just like messing around. He doesn't feel threatening at all. You watch him, and he like turns into a different person the minute he steps into that cage.
Yeah.
Especially when he's finishing fighters, the last 3 being knockouts.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a guy you do not see.
No.
It's just,
It's crazy.
it's pretty crazy. And I think you
Yeah.
kind of have to, obviously, maybe to be a successful fighter is be able to flip that and be like, okay, I'm in war now, and I gotta go all in.
Well, I think that's what I get a lot of that from a lot of people that I meet is I think when people first think about fighting, one, they think you have to be mad to go fight and you have to hate the person, which is not true. And then 2, that these guys are just straight savages 24 hours a day. And to be honest with you, what I've explained to a lot of people is the mat is very humbling. And so when you get on there to get great at fighting, that means you've gotten your ass kicked thousands of times. And so the humbling of that is where you find some of that humility you're talking about with Dustin, for example, and any of those guys. Like if you've played with Gaethje and you've met Cody and Yusuf and all these kids that are around here that fight, amazing people and really fun to be around, good people. Now, when it's time to flip the switch and it's time to go be a fighter, that inherently was there already, and then they learned how to go do this professionally and really at a high level, and then they are able to go compete like any sport, whether it's golf, football, fighting, whatever. The golf athletes, they do the same thing. I mean, I've met a good amount of those players, and they're great people, the ones that are. And then, but when they get on there, they flip the switch too. You see things from them that you don't normally see in the competition sense. And so it's not different. It's just, it is because it's fighting. And so people look at it like, man, doesn't that guy need to be just jacked up 24 hours a day and just being a savage? And nah, it's actually very polar opposite of that.
I've heard someone else say that too, because people always ask me like, "Oh, is Dustin or Justin, are they just like psychos?" I'm like, no, not at all. And I'm like, all those guys are super humble, but I think it is because no matter who you are, you've probably gotten your ass beat a handful of times at a minimum.
Way more.
Yeah. No matter who you are, you've probably gotten your ass beat a lot. So I think that's probably about it. When you're talking about DJ's confidence, when he won that tournament we had in Vegas for 10K, like most people, if they have a 15, 20 footer for $10,000, they're like shitting themselves. DJ was like loving it. There was no doubt in his mind that he was gonna miss it.
Locked in.
He was so locked in. He was like so confident. It wasn't like fake confidence either.
Yeah.
No,
Like
and
he really thought he was gonna make that.
But fellas, he's learned that through fighting. And because one of the things we talk about constantly is you don't control a result. Like everyone wants to win and lose. I get that. But you don't control a result. And DJ's learned that. He's learned that there's times when he did everything right and he lost the fight. And there's times where, he went into a fight banged up and he knocked a guy out. And so the result we really don't control. And so I think that's what happened. I watched it on social media.
Yeah.
And he texted me, he's like, "Coach, you got to go see this putt I hit." And I was like, "Was it for any money?" He was like, "Heck yeah, it was for some money." And I was like, "Sick." So I went on there, and I didn't even know if he made it or not. But I watched it and I was like, I could just tell it's the same confidence that he has, that bulletproof confidence I was talking about, that he has when he competes and he fights. And so that's why when you play DJ. Because I play against DJ a lot, and he's taken some of my money, and I've taken some of his. But when you play against him, you got to be on it because he's not going to ever let up until it's time to shake hands when you're done, And so, and he's just learned that really well from, doing this most of his adult life, meaning fighting. So and then he just translates it to the golf.
I know.
So, question I had is, going to that fight in Tampa, we obviously saw you guys the night before, the day after, the morning after was brutal. I saw Mark in the airport at like 6:30, and it was funny because
I'm surprised you recognized me.
Yeah. And we left after his fight. Then we go after, and I'm like, it's 2 a.m. and we're gonna party until 4:30 or 5. Go home, get our stuff, and go to the airport, I guess. And it was brutal because the guy, my buddy Rob, he's a pilot for United, and he flew jump seat on the way home, which is just the L-shaped in the cockpit, 4 hours from Tampa. Anyways, it was brutal for him. My question is for you is like, okay, so number one, what are you telling a fighter when you're in the corner with them in between rounds? And I hear the coaches yelling at the fighter, like, keep your head up or punch the stomach, whatever, whatever they could tell them to do.
Kick the leg. Calf.
Yeah, calf kick. Yeah. Nick said calf kick. I heard that a few times. Remember what Nick told you.
Nick, no.
Remember what Nick told you. Listen to Nick.
Put it on a head cover.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you do. What are you telling him? And then, two, that fight specifically, I think he was losing the first 2 rounds. Maybe the second round could have been a mix, but he was losing the fight, I think.
You're talking about Petrino.
Yeah.
Petrino. And he knocks him out. So how are you, let's say he loses the first 2 rounds, or any fighter who's down the first 2 rounds, and DJ really needs a knockout or a submission or whatever to win. How are you keeping him still mentally focused? And ironically, DJ told us that, hey, I need to get through the first 2 rounds the morning of. He's like, he's like a big guy. He's going to get tired. I need to just get through the rounds. He followed the game plan. But what are you doing as a coach to, one, keep him focused going into that 3rd round, and then in general during a fight, what are you telling your fighters?
Yeah, it's a great question. So to answer that, you kind of have to back up into training camp. And so for the Petrino fight, knowing that kid had only lost 1 time, and he actually lost to my other fighter, Anthony Smith. So he was undefeated before he fought Anthony Smith. So I'd already coached against him in the cage. And he is one of the biggest guys I've seen in the cage. Yeah,
huge.
We saw him at the hotel. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Now he's a heavyweight, right?
Yeah. He's doing really well at heavyweight. Actually.
He's ranked.
And he's super talented, explosive. And I remember against Anthony thinking, and Anthony's a big guy too, but Petrino was bigger than him. The only guy there's a couple, but one of the biggest guy I've ever seen in the cage after weigh-ins on the day of the fight was Rakic. Rakic is huge. When he fought Anthony Smith, I could not believe how big he was. He weighed in at 205 and for obviously weigh-ins. And then when they fought, because they weigh him the day of when they fight, he was 239 or 240 the day of fight. So literally gained 35 pounds overnight. And I was like, wow. And he looked big still at weigh-ins, and they don't typically look like that. And I was like, this dude's going to get huge. But Petrino's very similar to that guy. He's just not as tall. So if you back up into training camp, when I told Dustin, I said, listen, man, first they're bringing up a young kid to see if he belongs at your level. And I said this a little bit to get DJ kind of a little pissed off too, whether it's right or wrong, meaning whether they truly meant this or not, I don't care. But I said, so the UFC potentially is using you as a stepping stone, which he was like, what? He gave me that side eye, which I love, because I was like, perfect, now I got his attention.
And his post-fight interview was pissed. He's like, I'm not a stepping stone.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, exactly. So, and that part of my job is to know these guys who, like, why are we doing this?
Right.
So, and so you got to know these guys individually, and they're all different. And so they're same, but they're all different. And so, and I know with DJ, I just need to give him a little motivation and a lot of direction. And so he doesn't need a lot of motivation. Some guys need more or less, whatever. But so anyway, they want to use you as a stepping stone. This young kid's coming up, but he's super powerful. And I said, I already cornered against him because Anthony fought him. He was undefeated going into the fight against Anthony. Anthony was the first guy to beat him. But this guy has a lot of power, and he's not going to stop throwing power until he gets tired. And so, DJ, if you go in there with a similar game plan like we fought some of these other guys, and we just try to out kickbox him, we potentially run into one hard shot that finishes the fight. So you're going to have to be so patient in training during our camp that when you get to the fight, people are going to boo and we potentially are going to be down. Like I already set the stage, I already knew because I've already done this as a coach before in the past. And so I was like, but DJ, you're the best at trusting the plan. And as long as you trust the plan and we stick to it, then you can get this kid. You can actually finish him. But we can't do it till his feet get flat. So when you're asking, hey, what's going on in the corner, that's all build up leading up to the fight, right? And so DJ would get so frustrated with me in training because he'd be like, Coach, I just want to go. And I'm like, I know, but you can't yet. And so we had some big hitters in there, trained with him and you know, throwing heat at him and doing the whole thing. Then he'd get his opportunity. Of course, he's not knocking training partners out, but you could tell, like, if he hit a kid with that in a fight, that potentially is game over. I'd be like, boom, there it was. But you had to be patient to get there, right? And so, and then once he started feeling it in training camp, he was like, okay, I'm no longer frustrated. Now I'm seeing what you're talking about and I'm feeling what I feel. And so I'm like, okay, great. So as we got through camp and then we finished camp, we've already gone through all of this, okay? So then when he tells you, for example, or whomever was there, hey, I got to be patient with this and I may need to get through 2 rounds to get this guy, it's because we trained for that. Now, if an opportunity opened up in the first and we saw his feet being flat, we'd give him the go. But his feet weren't flat the first 2 rounds. He was very poppy.
Gotcha. So you're watching for that.
I'm
You're watching the other
like-
fighter's
like a
feet and
hawk.
how he's
Yeah.
doing it and being like, hey, not yet.
Not yet. And so what happened, if you guys remember, in the second round, DJ gets a little squirrely and gets popped.
Yeah.
And zinged him a little bit, like rung his bell.
Yeah.
You could see his knees kind of wobbled. And I was like, no. And I'm screaming at him in the corner. No, it's not time yet. Stop. You know, and so he does recover. And then I could tell, though, Petrino was getting tired. So in between the second and third round, I say to DJ, I say, hey, man, listen, he's getting tired. His feet are starting to almost get flat. If you get into any type of grappling exchange, that's where he'll get his feet flat. So if you guys remember, because he's already tired from just striking for 2 rounds. So if you remember in the third round, he goes to take DJ down, right?
Yeah.
And they get into a grappling exchange. Well, after the grappling exchange is when his feet got flat. And he kind of came out plotting. And I was like, it's time to go. And then he just threw a fastball. And that's when it was
That's crazy.
Now, if you remember, now here's the thing. They haven't always turned out that way. So I look like an amazing coach from that. But let's be honest, because when I after the fight, you know, we get requests just like the fighters to go do interviews post-fight, especially Monday, Tuesday after the weekend. I had so many requests to interview me about that fight, like normal when a guy finishes well like that. But I was like, man, because you got to remember, we only had 90 seconds left in the fight.
Yeah.
And so 90 seconds later, if that plan doesn't work, I'm the biggest idiot in the world.
Yeah,
can just
his feet never went flat in 3 rounds.
Because that was a shitty game plan, coach, that you had.
Yeah.
To be patient with the guy, and you let one of the world-class kickboxers not go shine like he typically does. And so I would look like an ass, essentially. I looked like such a goat because it worked out. But it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah,
so I, in that one, I'm really proud of DJ because he had to, I came up with the plan, but he had to really believe in it. And so if he doesn't believe in that plan, can he still win the fight? Yeah, because DJ he's of that caliber potentially. But the risk of him losing is very high because DJ's not, he's not that young 20 or late 20-year-old, early 30-year-old anymore. And that kid in front of him's got speed and power and he's big. And, you know, one shot from a 205er, regardless of who they are, it's game over. And so in between the rounds, that's what was said. And he believed me. And I was like, you got a little bit impatient the second. Let's not do that again. Once his feet get flat, I promise you it's going to happen. Don't. And I remember telling him in the fight and in the corner, I don't give a shit about this crowd. Who cares? Don't let them boo all because I even told him in the corner, let them boo all they want because when you knock them out, they're going to start cheering. And I remember telling them that. And you can go see you can pull the corner clips because that was said. And then sure enough, he knocks him out and the whole crowd's cheering. And so, that was a good day for all of us, you know. But
Yeah.
like I said, they don't always work out that way.
Then what about the?
I was gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask a question about this last fight. As a coach, what is your strategy transitioning, losing your opponent the week of the fight, the travel to Australia? That's not easy.
Yeah.
And then taking a fight on such short notice. Like, how do you switch up that game plan and keep him like his head in the game, and then studying and preparing for a new opponent on like 7 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So, first off, I was lucky that happened to Dustin because he's a vet. And so he's not a young kid, he's a vet. So I was from the coaching standpoint, I was lucky because I've gone through it with Dustin, and we have had to make these type of transitions in the past, and we've been, I would say, mostly successful doing it. You know, we haven't won all of them, but we've won a lot of them. And so the conundrum we had was that he wasn't flying domestically. He was flying one of the longest flights you can go fly in the world, which is all the way to Australia. Yeah. And so we find out that his opponent's out and he's in Australia, or flying to Australia, essentially. And so I'm like, man, this is a problem. Okay, since he's there, can't we just find an Australian fighter to fight him there? And he's ready.
Yeah.
Camp's done. Him and Cody are going out 2 weeks early. And he did leave earlier than normal, because typically you'd leave on a Tuesday week of fight. Mm-hmm. Him and Cody left 2 weeks early because of the 18-hour flight, or 20-plus hour, whatever it is, flight total, and then the 18-hour time adjustment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like
I mean, you
time
lose
travel.
what, 2 days
It's
going there?
What's that?
A day and a
Gain
half. Do
2
you
days.
you gain 2 days?
Or
going
you lo-
down?
yeah,
I
you
was gonna
lose
say
2
you
days.
lose
You
2
lose a
days,
day.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You fly out on a Monday, you get there like
On Wednesday,
morning.
yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's crazy.
And then when you come back, you leave on
Yeah.
Monday and you get here Monday. It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah. It just happened.
Yeah.
So, but I've been there. This last trip was my 7th time going to Australia. So I've been there quite a bit. And as a young coach, again, Chris Camozzi was my first UFC fighter. We fought there back in the day, and we went out early, and I screwed it up a little bit, overtrained him a little bit, and had to learn from that. But I was young. That was young in my career. And so I learned through all that. And then, like I said, this is my 7th time going out there. Part of them going out early was from my suggestion, because I was like, fellas, you need to go out there early, acclimate, do the whole thing, and you guys will be good. And so, which we were right about. But to answer your question, the hard part is they're like, okay, nobody there, and you got a limited pool in comparison to the rest of the world. You have to get a visa to go to Australia. So that was the problem, is if the local Australian, New Zealand fighters weren't available, which the pool is okay, but it doesn't have the numbers that the rest of the world has, right? And so those guys weren't available for that quick time period, and you're fighting Dustin Jacoby, so guys aren't going to just readily be like, yeah, no problem, let's fight him on a week, basically.
Yeah.
And so what we had to figure out was, okay, that's not going to work in Australia. Can he fight soon, because he's ready? And then the conundrum I have as a coach is, when you train Dustin Jacoby, he's an older fighter. You can't train him similarly to how you would train a younger fighter, because the wear and tear of camp is going to murder him. And so to try to turn him back right around and then have another 6-week camp is potentially death for us,
Right.
Because especially already peaking him. And so I was like, man, can we get something quick? Well, they proposed a date, and you guys laugh about this, especially since this is a golf podcast, is DJ has a trip booked with some friends to go play golf.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the weekend. Of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has this trip booked to go play golf. And he was like, Coach, I've had this trip booked, and I'm not compromising on that trip.
He's like, that's non-negotiable.
Yeah, and I was like, DJ, can't we
fight.
reschedule this? And he's like, non-negotiable. I go, all right, well, we're not doing that then. So, which I respect. And I was like, okay, cool. Because, no fault to DJ. He was supposed to fight, in January, basically, in Australia. How would he know that this was going to happen?
Yeah.
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 And so, anyway, they turn him around and go, okay, cool. We will give you a week later in Vegas. And then I was like, okay, my first thought was, okay, let's bring him home. But then I sat on it for like an hour or two, and I was like, no, that's not the right, that's going to be terrible. Let's keep him there. He's already got a routine. Cody still has to fight. Cody needs some support as well. DJ's the only guy there with him right now because the coaching staff didn't go 2 weeks early. Coaching staff's coming a week early.
Oh.
So let's keep him there. They already have their routine. They're training together. They're in the house. They're learning how to drive on the opposite side of the road, like the whole thing, right? And so I was like, no, stay there, DJ. Don't come home. We'll all come home together from Australia. And if we need to go one, like less than a day home in Denver, we will. And then we'll all go back to Vegas. And so we all agreed on that. And then when they gave him the opponent, Julius Walker, Julius had come and trained with us in the past and had trained for a couple weeks actually with us. And so again, I said to DJ, whether this is right or wrong, doesn't matter. I said to DJ, that kid came and trained with us. He thinks he can beat you. And he's like, yeah, he does, huh? And I was like, yeah. And so I was like, what do you think? He thought he saw something in training and now he's confident to beat one of the best guys in the world. And he's like, yeah, fuck that guy. He's like, when I go bonus this kid, I'm buying a Raptor and I'm going to name it Juice Box. And I was like, done, let's do it. And so that's part of it with him is like, you got to give him a little bit of like F you attitude to where he's like, I'm going to go and I got this figured out. And so because he's a vet and knowing that Julius was probably going to take him down, and, you know, we all like Julius. So good kid. It's just you got to say and do what you got to do and say to get this thing done. And so, but fighting Crute, there was a similar game plan. We knew Crute would potentially want to take us down. So we'd already worked pretty hard on that side. So we were pretty confident about that. Julius is a different build, different striker, and has different subs. So you can't, one thing I learned is, as a coach over time, is that I remember one time I was sitting down on my dinner table and I kept writing out, we got a short notice fight to go fight. Anthony Smith was fighting, who was it? Swedish kid. I'll think of it. Blonde, tall. I'll think of it. He actually fought John Jones, and everyone thought he won.
Gustafson.
So we were going to fight Gustafson. Good job. Look at that. And we had a short notice, and they called us and said, "Hey, this is short notice." And I remember sitting down, writing all these notes of like the game plan on a notebook piece of paper. And I would tear it up and I'd throw it away. And my wife came over and I'd had like 3 balls of paper that I'd already wadded up. And I was just staring at it like a blank piece of paper. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, trying to figure out how to freaking come up with this game plan, but we only have like 7 days. And she's like, "You're looking at it probably." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You're making it way too complicated. He knows how to fight. He's got this thing in less than 2 weeks. You just need to go make sure you've got him in the right mental space and go from there." And I was like, damn, you're a pretty good coach. You want to go do my job? But anyway, so that's what I learned from that throughout the years. So with DJ, I'm not going to overcomplicate it because I've learned this. What I know, though, is when guys take short notice fights is that you have to take markers away. And what I mean by that is, if they went and ran a mile in 7 minutes, we're not going to go run a mile on a short notice fight because that marker mentally will screw with them potentially. So he was like, damn, I used to run this mile in 7 minutes. I just did it in 7:40. My cardio is not as good. So we got to take all the markers away that they know and just get them into the right mental spot and remind them that they're one of the best in the world and they know how to do this job. And so that's ultimately what we did. We had a couple little things that we knew we could take advantage of in the sense against Julius. And then because he's young, Julius is young and DJ is a vet, we were able to use our experience against him, knowing that if he wasn't able to grapple Dustin, now if you guys remember the fight, we call it a mat return where he's picking him up and putting him on the
That's
mat.
got to make you tired.
But then Dustin's getting back up.
Yeah.
That's a mat return. That's not grappling.
Yeah.
And so the mat return makes you tired. And especially if you do it over and over again and the guy keeps getting up and you're not having any success grappling. So we knew we'd probably get mat returned a time or 2 or 3 or whatever. And for our sake, Julius is doing big takedowns.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot of energy. And so, and then you could just see, we knew we potentially would lose the first round. And I could just tell he was super tired. So in the corner, I was like, yo, he's tired. Just go get on him. And that's what he did. And so ultimately, it's just knowing them, knowing why, and then using my experience as a coach from all the things I've screwed up in the past to then let it work in our favor. And then the fighter, of course, has to trust it. And then they got to go execute. And so that's why the relationship is so special with these fighters, is because we have such a close, intimate relationship. And I always tell them, I can see sometimes what you can't see, but I can't feel what you feel in there. So we have to have a really good communication inside the fight, in the corner, during camp, et cetera, et cetera. And when that happens, then it's just easy hat because we're used to doing that.
Yeah. Huh, that is cool. That was a great fight. Well, you were talking about how you and DJ play a lot of golf. Obviously, DJ's been playing for a while. We have a segment called First Swing. So how did you get into the game of golf? You've been playing for a while?
No, actually, this will be the start of my 5th season.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I played a little bit when I was in my 20s. So
Okay.
I'm 50 now. So I had kids, right? And started business and the whole thing. And so having kids and starting business doesn't leave you a lot of time to go play golf. And so I played a little bit when I was in my
Nick
20s.
plays all the time.
Here we go.
He's never here.
Well, I need Nick's luck then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark knows that's not true. I'm here working.
Yeah, I'm here working.
You're out there partying in Vegas.
Yeah.
So what happened was I remember playing when I was in my 20s and remember that I enjoyed it. I was just doing it mainly because I could take clients out, and I wasn't really like, I loved playing golf, but I wasn't really honed in like I want to play golf and get good at it and learn the craft of it and enjoy it for a multitude of reasons. 4 years ago, I got invited to go play in a scramble, and I think it was probably about this time of year, and they said, hey, we're going to have the scramble for the Denver Dream Center, and
He was here today.
Oh, he was?
Pastor B was here.
Pastor B was here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
He
funny.
was like, I'm going to text Mark because I said Mark's coming on the podcast later. Yeah.
He was just here, 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
was
an
he? And I
hour
missed
ago.
him?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love Pastor B.
Yeah, good guy.
So Pastor B and I have obviously crossed paths in the past because of the work he does and the work I do. Kind of intersects. And then a lot of the things he does is where I grew up. And so I grew up like Federal and Alameda area. And then some of the projects just near there and down from there, he does a lot of work in. So we meaning my team and the gym, have gone and done a lot of stuff with the Denver Dream Center and Pastor B.
Nice.
And so Pastor B reached out and said, hey, I'm going to do this golf scramble at Arrowhead. And I live near Arrowhead, like 5 minutes. DJ and I live near each other.
Yeah.
And so we live in Roxborough there. And so he was like, we're going to go do this and this scramble. And I was like, man, that sounds fun. I haven't played golf in a long time. I kind of dabbled with it a little bit in my 20s, but wasn't very good, just kind of messing around, right? And so I pulled out my old Mizuno clubs that I had and still good irons, but they were old, like crazy old. And so I actually still hit one of the 3-woods. It flies like a 5-wood actually, but I still love that club. But anyway, I was like, I'm gonna go play in this, but I don't want to suck,
Yeah.
And so I went to the driving range and I was garbage, and then I told DJ, I said, hey man, you want to go play in the scramble? And it was myself, DJ, and Caruso that were gonna go play. Well, my son had never played before either. My son Wyatt.
Really?
No.
Wow.
And so
Oh, shit.
I was getting ready to go play, and I went out there and we played in the scramble, but Wyatt didn't go. Okay, because he's like, I don't want to play golf.
Yeah.
He's trained on the mat his whole life. Him and my daughter, have, grown up at the gym and trained their whole life there. But my neighbor is Donnie Allen, who is the GM at Raccoon Creek.
Oh, Donnie's a good friend of mine.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Donnie's good
He's
guy.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome dude. So he invited some of the neighbor people out and said, hey, let's go play a round. It was just a fun round at Raccoon Creek.
Yeah.
And I was just getting started. I just played in that scramble and, wasn't great at all. And but decent, pretty good athlete and have the want and desire to get good, right? So I told Wyatt, I was like, yo, I'm going to go play. He had zero interest. My wife goes, well, we're going to go play, meaning her and my daughter and some of the neighbors. Wyatt, why don't you just come with us? So he went with the girls, okay, and just was hanging out. So I'm playing with Donnie and the fellas, and we're having fun and whatever, and just trying to learn this game. And my wife texts me, and she's like, Wyatt is so good already at golf. And I'm thinking, this is such a mom talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, Sydney, that's Donnie's wife, said he's actually really good. And, Wyatt has grown up playing all kinds of sports, baseball. He can switch hit in baseball.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he's played football. He's
a good
wrestled.
athlete, yeah.
He's grown up on the mat. He's a really good athlete. So anyway, I was thinking, this is such mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I never saw him swing the club that day. But after that, I was like, yo, let's go to the driving range. And it wasn't like he was like Tiger Woods right out the gate, but the kid actually was really good comparatively in the sense that he'd never swung a golf club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, dang, that's actually pretty good. So what got me into it was that. But then what's kept me into it is a few things. One, I've really had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with my son that you wouldn't get one-on-one going 4 hours, 5 hours out on a golf course. And like, where are you carving that kind of time out with your son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than
Yeah.
playing golf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Training on the mat maybe, but
Because even in the house, you guys probably wouldn't even see each other.
potentially.
Yeah, you're on your phones
Yeah, you're
and
on your
fucking
phone.
around.
Exactly.
You're
Exactly.
working, watching video.
Right. And I really enjoy walking. I don't like riding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't, but I will, but I don't, that's not my favorite thing. So when we walk, I always told Wyatt, I said, listen, man, I will pay for your golf round, but I will never pay for your betting if you bet anybody, and I'm not paying for a car.
Yeah.
So if you want to ride in a
All
car,
right.
you can show me, And sometimes we'll go to a course where, everyone's riding in a car.
You
We're
got
not going to walk.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if he and I go play, 99% of the time we go walk.
Yeah.
And so we're just walking around, learning the game together. And then he decided that the summer, literally going into high school, he was going to go play football and baseball in high school. The summer going into high school, and he wasn't very good at it at all. He was like, I want to do golf full time. And my wife and I about fell out of our chair. We're like, what? And so part of it is because of his love too for it. And then the time I've got to spend with him. And then, the same mindset you have to have in fighting is very similar to golf in the sense of you got to manage the chaos, right? You got to have some patience, and then you got to take one shot at a time. And so that mindset transitions over. And to me, there's a lot of bliss because I'm a big hunter and fly fisherman, so I like being outside. I play even when it's cold. Like DJ doesn't like to play in the cold.
I don't either.
Yeah, but I do.
I'll play in the cold.
I play in the cold all the
Yeah, you
time. I practice in the cold. When it's windy, I like it because I'm trying to figure this out and shot shapes and whatever. And so I kind of nerded out on it and been like, okay. And my personality's that way. I don't like to suck at things. And
Yeah.
I go practice almost every single day, and Wyatt does too.
Really?
Yeah. And so we've had a chance to spend a lot of time together, and in just a short time, I'm not a scratch golfer, but I'm about a 5 handicap. So,
Dang.
yeah, it's not bad.
That's
And
awesome.
I've only played for
It's better than us.
Yeah.
4 years. This is going on my 5th year.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He's like,
us.
Nick, don't talk
Don't
about
lump
me.
me into this.
I didn't make eye contact with you. I was looking at him.
But as we progress, and it's something that I really enjoy, and and I love going out there with my buddies and having the camaraderie of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And just I can't play in the leagues because I'm gone most weekends for fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's fun to get together with your buddies and play and go see different courses and just do the thing, and get better.
Will you guys play post fight? Like when you're in Vegas, do you go and be like, all right, we got a good win, we're feeling pretty good, let's go play a round of golf, or wherever you were, if you're in Australia or Vegas, Tampa, and play golf? Why are you saying
Well, I was laughing because I told DJ you were coming on. He wanted me to bring this up. He said when you guys were in Vegas, you played. And he said he beat your ass, but there was something he didn't have his own clubs. I think that's what he
did not
said.
beat my ass. That is not true.
That's what DJ said.
That is not true, by the way.
I think he said he didn't have his clubs. Did you bring yours?
Of course,
was
I
that
brought
what it
my
was?
clubs, and
And
there's
maybe
no way
he said
I beat
he said he got.
rental clubs.
I think he said I had rentals, and
he still
won.
beat Mark?
He didn't.
He told me that.
But we could go play anytime and prove that again. He could bring his
I'm
own clubs as
impartial.
well.
That's what I was
I'm
told.
impartial.
Drama on the pod.
So here's the thing. Obviously, the fighters that don't play golf aren't going to play golf. But
No.
like Dustin plays golf, and so in the fight he just had against Julius, we went out and played on Thursday morning early, actually, which Thursday afternoon, evening is a big weight cut day. But it's a good, because, Friday morning they weigh in. So we cut a lot of weight Thursday night, and then we finish it up, whatever we have to finish up early Friday morning, and then we go weigh in. So it always depends on energy and the weight cut and everything, but DJ's weight cuts aren't that bad. And then it's a good opportunity to just get their mind off of and have some just normal vibe kind of. And so we went out and played Thursday morning and had a blast. And it was me, Cody, Caruso, and DJ, and we all went out and played. And so, yeah, we'll go play. And then Cody's fight next week in March 7th in Vegas. And Cody's like, man, I want to do that. And, Cody doesn't play a lot.
Yeah.
But it would be great for Cody because it'll take his mind off.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
It gives us, 4 hours of just chill and have fun together versus just sitting around and looking at each other.
Stressing out, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing I love about golf. It just brings your community together.
Yeah,
so,
For sure. Well,
and Liam, that's a lie, by the way.
we'll have to ask DJ.
Yeah, we will. Actually.
Well, we were talking about fighting
Get
and
him on the
golf.
phone.
We wanted to do a challenge, so let me know your opinion on this.
boy.
It's going to be Nick versus Rory. Rory's like a 25 handicap. Nick's scratch. So they're going to play from the tips at Fox Hill probably.
Okay.
If Rory can beat Nick on one hole, just one hole, he wins. But we want to do the loser has to come spar somebody at your gym.
Okay, yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of waivers signed.
So,
Yeah.
so the loser and the way Nick would lose is if he won one hole.
If Rory wins
he
one
just
hole,
needs one.
he's got to beat me. A tie doesn't count. He'd have to make a 4. I'd have to make a 5.
Sure.
He wins one hole.
Is
out
it
of
straight up
18.
no handicap?
No, straight up, no
Straight up.
handicap.
Okay.
So he's got 18 holes. At least on one hole, he's got to beat me. Straight up.
Just once. I think it'd be a
love
good
it.
match.
I love that.
And I think Nick was going to spar, I don't know, and then Cody wanted Rory to spar his wife.
Bobby's mean.
I
bro.
know, that's
That
what
would
he
be
said.
that would be a bad, but I'm in.
That would be
We just
funny.
got to get some waivers signed. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, get a couple waivers.
I need
signed.
the full gear. I need the,
Go to the dentist and make sure you get a good mouthpiece.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Shit.
Do you,
Okay,
ha-
I'm in.
do you have people who come and do that, or is it like
No.
people aren't stupid like that?
I don't think you could just walk in the gym. I want you right now. Like,
I guess you could.
Hey, big
Probably-
fucker, I want you.
Probably not a good idea, but back in the day, it was like that.
Really?
Where, yeah, guys would kind of go around and you would just spar random people. But it's the sport's evolved and grown, and the people are so good now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the liability too. That's the other thing. Like for me, the liability of it is like, dude. And everyone's like, I wouldn't do anything until your tooth's over there, and then you're like,
Yeah.
well, and so there's always a liability issue. But in that bet, I mean, I think we can accommodate something.
I think
do you have
Rory.
anyone
I'm
in Rory's
nervous.
weight class?
Yeah, he's about
Yeah,
105.
130.
I mean, Bobby's pregnant though right now, so
Oh no!
but it's okay.
Let's get Cody in there.
Yeah.
No, we can get Rory with one of my girls. She's 135 pounder,
Okay, that's they're about the same.
and she's an amateur. She's not a pro.
Oh, okay.
She's pretty good.
Really?
She'd probably beat him up back.
I would love to do that.
And she won't hold back.
We could sell tickets to that.
Honestly, you could. You could live stream that.
That would be funny.
I mean, I could get
a
my 25
pay-per-view.
or 35 guys too.
Yeah, you could do that as
If
well.
you want a guy.
Who's in Nick's weight class?
Everyone.
Petrino?
Same BMI.
We'll have Cody spar. Or
Yeah.
spar.
Yeah.
No, that's not even fair. Nick.
No, I would get smoked.
No, we'd find someone for you.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just not gonna lose.
You just don't lose. Yeah,
I'm just
don't
gonna
lose.
go.
That's
shoot.
an interesting match.
But the
that's
problem
an
is
interesting-
One hole.
Rory could
He can make a
have
birdie.
or he could make a par.
And
and
it
I
only
make
takes
bogey.
you one blow up hole.
One blow up hole.
One.
I've seen Rory make a birdie on 4 at Fox, whatever the par 3
Yeah,
is.
the par threes are gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean, if you
hit
make
one good shot.
One good shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would be a good match. Rory was joking around with Cody. He's like, I think I could last with your wife a little bit.
No, he could.
And I was like, Rory, no.
Listen, I like Rory, but I know Bobby, and she's way meaner than Cody.
That's what Cody said. He's like, you'd be lucky to have me in there. My wife.
I would take. Yeah,
beat the shit out of
Rory
you.
should pick Cody over.
Yeah, I kind of agree
Bobby's
with that.
mean. I remember when she first came to the gym, and we were just training, and she had some girl and she of course had elbow pads on, but she had this girl on the floor, and she was literally just elbowing the shit out of her on the floor, and I was like, yo, we're training, calm down. And she looks
Yeah.
up at me like I brought her out of a trance, and I was like, what was this going on?
That's
Yeah, she's
crazy.
mean.
Nick's getting nervous.
I'm getting nervous.
Well, Bobby's off the market.
I'm
'cause she's
lucky
pregnant.
I'm out of this bet.
Is this what was going to happen tomorrow on the course?
No.
No. Like in the spring or summer, we'd film it. And do it.
That'd be sick. You guys gotta let me know what happens.
Yeah, we got to set it up. I want to film like the precursor to it as well. Well, I got one last question for you, Mark. We call it caddy advice. So if you could give someone advice as a caddy, it doesn't have to be golf related, it could be life, anything like that. What's some advice you'd give the listeners?
Just listeners in general.
Yeah.
And you don't want it golf related.
You can do a golf related, but I think life related,
Life
career.
related.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I would say one of the things I think that's really important, we talked about it today, is I think in life, in sports, in golf, if you try to determine your outcome or result, it's when you press, right? And so like you grip the club harder, you grip life harder, you're trying to control something you have no control of, right? And so and we all do it, and we've all done it, and me included, of course, and which is part of the reason why I learned this. And so, like when we go fight, one of the things I talk about when we fight is to the fighters, if all you're doing is thinking about a win or a loss outcome, we're already close to losing because you're trying to go control the result. You don't control the actual result of the fight, right? Because think about Dustin, the Petrino case we were talking about. Dustin's following the plan. Let's just say Petrino doesn't get flat-footed. He doesn't knock him out. He followed the plan. He did everything right. And then we potentially lose a decision. That's my fault, ultimately. But Dustin would be like, no, I was the guy in there. At the end of the day, that's a collective loss on both of our parts, right?
Yeah.
And I would take a huge amount of that responsibility like I've done in the past before. But if I'm worried about the result, I don't even give him that advice because I'm like, man, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to look like an ass, and so I'm not going to do that. And if he's a good kickboxer, let's just let him be loose and flip the coin. But it just doesn't make sense. And so the advice I would give people is this. You literally control 3 things in your day, and that's it. It's an acronym, and it's AGE, A-G-E. So you control your attitude, you control your gratitude, and then ultimately you control your effort. And so if you think about that, if you wake up, and this is the thing that I always talk to people about. I hate when people say I'm having a bad day. That's a choice. Because now attitude's been tested, your gratitude and your effort's been tested. So you can have bad moments. It's cool. You're going to have bad moments on the golf course too. Like anybody that's ever played one single round of golf knows that even in your great rounds, you got to battle through adversity. It's one of the reasons why I really love golf.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can go shoot under par, but you're still going to have a hole or two where you had to just battle through. You needed to hit that 12, 15 footer for par that kept you going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, save something.
Exactly. And so but off the tee, you pulled it left and you're behind the tree and you're pissed because you did that. Okay, fine. Be pissed until you get to the ball. That's your moment. But when you get to the ball, all that shit is over with. Like, you already hit the ball. Like, why are you so worried about what just happened? It's done. And so now you got to do the problem solving of, how am I going to get around this tree? Do I need to lay up? And you go through the whole thing, right? And so that's managing AGE. That's managing your attitude, your gratitude, and your effort. And so
I like that.
when we talk about that acronym of AGE, the bullshit of I'm having a bad round, I'm having a bad day is all right here. And so it's like yesterday I woke up and instantly I stubbed my toe on the wall going to the bathroom. And I was like, bro, are we really starting this day off like this? Like, literally my eyes were barely open. You know what I mean? 6 a.m. And I just had to remind myself the same thing. What are we going to do with our attitude, our gratitude, and our effort right now? It's a tiny moment. Are you going to let that ruin your entire morning right now? Nah. And so, but I've had to learn that, because I've done that. I've ruined whole days before because moments got me. I've ruined golf rounds before because I put one in the water and I was like,
Yeah.
Round's over.
Go home.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? That's the cool part. And that's the difference ultimately between like fighting and golf. Is in fighting, if you make one mistake, you get KO.
Yeah.
In golf, we got 17 more tries, holes essentially, to go turn that thing around. And I love that. And you may not, but the point is that you keep giving like the max effort to go do that. And you just keep giving gratitude back. Because one of the things I love about golf is I'm outside. The trees, the grass is beautiful. The course is great. The company's awesome. Even I play a lot actually as a single, and I go meet all kinds of different people. Some people are hacks, some people are cool, some people aren't. But at the end of the day, like, just the gratitude of being out there. I get time to just, just come off the grid for a second and just have fun there. And so there's gratitude there, and then the attitude of what are we doing here, and then you're just giving max effort.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to fighters all the time, I'm like, you control the AGE, and if you go give max effort in this fight, regardless of the outcome, stop worrying about impressing everybody else and just go impress yourself. If you impress yourself, everyone else around you is impressed. And so that would be something that I've had to learn the hard way. I didn't just come out of the womb knowing that. I've messed that up a lot. And so as a person and as a coach, I've messed that up. And so, and as a golfer, I've messed that up. And so with that said, that's helped me so much in life. And I've seen it help my fighters a ton. I've seen it help my son in a golf round. I mean, man, if you can go play a tournament pressure golf round, that's setting you up for life.
Yeah.
Literally.
No doubt.
I mean, I know there's a lot of parallels there, and it could sound a little quirky or funky saying that, but it's absolutely true.
Oh, for
'cause
sure.
It does. And that's another reason why I love golf.
Yeah.
Because it parallels life very much, because you're like, oh, a little adversity, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna break?
Yeah.
DJ's got the putt for 10 G's. You're gonna shit your pants? Or
Yeah,
are we
exactly.
gonna just enjoy the moment, not worry about the result,
Yeah.
go AGE and let it rip, and if you miss it, you miss it. But
Yeah.
you gave it a good roll.
I
We
love
got a new
the
pins
AGE.
motto.
Yeah.
What?
AGE?
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
remember that.
I like
that was
that one.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that
thanks
a
for
lot.
coming on, Mark.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out his personal profile on Instagram, also Factory X. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
thanks everybody.
Hey
Thanks
guys, I appreciate you.